We started the business because we just want people to be clever with their money. Cashback is more of gain rather than discount. It's more of a less loss, right? So what it means is that if you're an Australian merchant that's selling in the US, we can collect in the US and settle into your Australian bank account. We enable growth under the payment stack as well through loyalty.
Welcome to Add to Cart, Australia's leading e-commerce podcast that express delivers all you need to know in the fast-moving world of online retail. Here's your host, Bushy.
Hey, it's Nathan Bush, or Bushy, joining you from the land of the Turrbal people here in Brisbane, Australia. Do we have a treat for you today? Today, we have one of the hottest startups in Australia. They've raised millions in startup capital and are now expanding into the US, Japan, and Singapore, and they're a payments company. Joining me today is Tran from Hello Clever. It's probably the best name for a finance company that you've ever heard of. And her mission is to help people be clever with their money. And when we talk clever with their money, we're not just talking consumers, we're talking about merchants as well. Carolyn and the team are at the forefront of real-time payments. And as you'll hear from Carolyn today, real-time payments have gone from just being introduced a few years ago to now representing almost 10% of payments around the world. Carolyn found that there was a huge untapped opportunity in C2B real-time payments, and that's how Hello Clever came to be. But what's most interesting is that this isn't just a payments company. This is set up as a customer acquisition and growth company, as well as a payments company to save you time and to make sure you get paid in real time. Through Hello Clever, merchants can offer cashback to customers, and most merchants are doing this using the fees that they would save from other payment methods. It's a really interesting concept, mixing both payments and loyalty together. Today, Carolyn gives us a quick fire lesson on what real-time payments are and the opportunity with real-time payments, how she has set up Hello Clever to help both merchants and customers be clever with their money, and gives us some tales around how she actually got into the world of finance when she was in the world of media beforehand, and she seems to handle it so simply. Thanks to Shopify and Klaviyo, here's my conversation with Caroline Tran from Hello Clever. Caroline, welcome to Add to Cart.
Thank you so much for having me, Nathan. Super nice to be here.
Super great to have you here. Now, Hello Clever, it has to be a name that stands out in the finance sector, right? So I can't think of any other financial company with a name as fun as Hello Clever. Do you find that you stand out?
It actually is. And I do have a lot of people every single day ask me about how do you come up with a name? Where does all gets, started? And I had to be like, being there and tell them the story. So, but it's really click. I mean, thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, we started the business because we just want people to be clever with their money. And that's why the reason of the name.
Are you clever with your money?
I am. You know why? Because I'm an accountant. It has to be like, personal finance is all everything I care for. So yeah, it has to be.
All right. Well, let's get into the story because I've been following you for quite a while. You are this amazing Australian tech finance story that I've been following you, and you've had your raises along the way, team expansion, global expansion. And I've just been like, we've got to have a chat. But there's also been a part of me that's like, I just can't work it out fully because you do so much, right? So there's the real-time payments piece, there's the shop back piece, there's the payments piece. There's a lot there. Can you tell us, what does Hello Clever do?
Yes. So in a few sentences, Hello Clever, we are a global payment company that combines instant cashback, embedded loyalty, and intelligent insight into one place. So when we started Hello Clever, the only product that was launched in the market was a B2B2C payment gateway products, which leverages the real-time payment platform in Australia, which is NPP. I'm not sure you're familiar with new payment platforms. So NPP.
Enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. It's in 2021 when NPP was like taking off, where people in lockdown and thought digital payments was emerging.
What does NPP stand for?
New payment platform. It's really simple.
That's very simple. That's not what I'm expecting at all.
Yeah, literally. RBA decided to call it NPP. So it's really easy to understand, right? It's literally a payment platform.
Okay. And that was introduced in 21.
In 2018, but it took off in 2021 because of, lockdown. People was, really into digital payments because you can't get out. You had to be out, doing payments online and stuff like that. So we were one of the first fintech that plug and play into the new payment platform. But we thought, okay, this is great. The use case was around peer-to-peer payments. So I can transfer from Caroline bank account to Nathan's bank accounts, via PayID, if you're familiar with PayID as well. But there isn't a use case around consumer to business. So Caroline cannot transfer to our business, right? We decided to take that advantage of being the first to build out the consumer to business payment. But we realized that people are not familiar with this new payment method. Then how we're going to, encourage them to use, PayID at the checkout. So that's why we're thinking of a way that we can incentivize consumers to check out with PayID, and therefore, the instant cashback value props was created. So basically, when a customers pay with Hello Clever at the checkout, you get instant cashback right away. And cashback has been proven in the market for years. Cash Reward, one of the prominent, cashback platform in Australia, has been around for 20 years and owned by the banks. They got millions of customers. I was a customer before as well. So we thought cashback was a really great value add for, consumers to encourage them to use this new payment platform. And that's why, we built the Australia first consumer to payment under the NPP and PayID.
And so you went out to solve that problem. Why had no one else done B2C PayID before? Why were you the first ones to come in and do it?
Yeah, because we started Hello Clever already with the consumer app. So we had a consumer app of around 10,000 users. So for you to build a C2B or consumer to business payment, you have to have consumer value props. And a lot of, auto fintech companies wouldn't want it to do, a two-sided marketplace, right? Because I think you have to invest in the C and also invest in the B. But for us, we already started with the C. So it is a no-brainer for us to do this, right? So we was really fortunate to become the first fintech that actually transact the NPP on Pay 2. So Pay 2 is another form of NPP, and it is similar to direct debit, but it is real time. So if you're familiar with the payment world, direct debit right now is not real time. So for example, if you pay for your gym membership right now, right, to like Anytime Fitness or anything the merchant won't receive in real time. Pay 2 allows real time transaction. So
okay.
Fintech to transact that on the NPP. And it was through a RBA bank account. So it was quite fortunate. So, and I think one of the advantages of Hello Clever is that we build products at speed. So it took us not weeks, not months, couple of days to do that, right? So taking advantage of the first mover in the market, I would have to say.
So this sounds incredibly complicated to me, and it's just because it's not my world. Is it complicated, or did you just have to come up with the proposition?
So it was complicated to get into and speaking with the sponsoring bank, if I have to say, because banks in Australia, obviously the Commonwealth, the Big Four, they are really consumer protection and retail focused banks, right? So everything about the consumers. So we have to go into the ecosystem and demonstrated our use case to allowing this particular use case for the industry to be able to roll it out, right? And in order before that, you have to have, licensing, robust compliance process. You have to demonstrate you have a risk and mitigation as well process to make sure that there is, minimal in fraud and scams, right? Because you're going to think about protecting the consumer first. So, and therefore, for a startup of, just starting, you have to invest into setting up your compliance department, and it costs millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So there is a really, high barrier to entry if you want to start a business like us. Again, there is the, opportunity for you to enter it, but it would take time to do it because of these requirements and regulations, risk and stuff like that. Yeah.
As a startup, how did you get over those barriers?
Okay, so this is, getting back to it. So I have to call a lot of chief compliance officers. Like literally, I went on LinkedIn and DM every single chief risk and compliance officer, like me or Melbourne, because we had no experience back then, right? So I was fortunate to be able to speak with like 3 or 4 of them, and they give me really good advice. And from them, we just obviously, speak to a few lawyers around the processes as well. And then, we were really fortunate to find an advisor who were in the industry for 20 years and be able to guide us through the whole process. And ever since, we've been able to build our own compliance department. And obviously on top of that, we did raise our seed rounds, which we announced in August 2022 of 4.5 million. So obviously part of it was to build out the initial team member of our compliance department. Yeah.
Amazing. And taking it forward to where we are today, how do you summarize where you're at in terms of growth? How many markets you're in? Give us a sense of the scale.
Of course. So when we started, we were thinking Australia. Obviously, this is home, and we wanted to create something really meaningful for the consumers and the merchants and the SMEs in general to leverage, real-time payment, because it's such a great product and it has been invested billions by the banks, right? So there has been a lot of, obviously, growth during the process, but then we soon realized merchants don't just sell in Australia, right? They sell globally. So that's why back in, late last year, we have to then redefine our roadmap and wanted to be, I wanted to serve global merchants. I wanted to serve Australian merchants as well, but sell globally. So that's why we've been busy the past 12 months to build new products so merchants can live in 20 markets. So as of today, merchants can go into Hello Clever, create a merchant account with one single integration. You don't have to integrate like multiple times to get into 20 markets, because the fact is that some auto payment companies, if you are a merchant, a global merchant, you have to go through the API or the tech stack to integrate every single time in each different markets. We simplify the whole process and make sure you can go global from day one, which is really phenomenal, right? For the merchants who, sells globally. So it really works really well with like travel agencies and merchants that do global, ticketings and stuff like that. So, and then we can help merchants settle their funds locally as well. So what it means is that if you're an Australian merchant that's selling in the US, we can collect in the US and settle into your Australian bank account instead of asking you need to be settled in the US, something like that. So create a really seamless, global payment solution. But merchants come to us not just because of global payments, right? They can go to Stripe, they can go to like any other big payment giant companies like PayPal, etc. So the key differentiations between Hello Clever and these players is that we enable growth under the payment stack as well through loyalty. So whether it's instant cashback or a seamless API that you can design your loyalty flow. So basically replace discounts, right? So with cashback, replace discount, optimize, your payment under our payment stack so you can not just save money on the payment processing costs, because merchants are paying 3 to 4% at the moment, right? So for us, it is a fair price, but a premium service at the same time, enabling, I guess, top line revenue for them as well. So it is a win-win, right? So, and then recently we launched Clever AI product, which is a AI, multi-agent AI, which, monitors and tell you proactive insights to what happened to your business. So you can make decisions in real time, not waiting for, hours or days to know what's going on, right? So we turn payment into a growth engine. And for you to do this, you need to build payment from scratch. And as I mentioned, compliance, regulation, risk, and all of that. Yeah.
And you've just done that. You've just rebuilt payment from scratch. No biggie.
So we did the entire foundation. So it took us like obviously a year or more, 2 years to do that foundation. And then, now adding more and more values to the merchant. So if I get cashback platforms wanted to do something like what we do, they have to become a payment company, right? So
yeah.
They're not, right? So they're more affiliates. So yeah.
All right. I want to come back to the loyalty and the cashback and the AI. But first, I just want to make sure that I'm getting the payments piece right. You've introduced a lot of concepts so quickly for me. My brain takes a bit to catch up. So if we're talking payments, obviously the benefit for merchants is that they're getting the payment in real time.
Yes. So merchant receive the capital when the customers pay under Hello Clever, the merchant receives that in their bank account in real time.
Yeah. And customers not paying any credit card fees or additional on top?
Exactly. So you don't pay anything, but you get cashback even, right?
Yeah.
That's the concept.
And then how it's shown in the checkout. So if we're just thinking from an e-commerce perspective then, if I'm going to shop at, who's your biggest merchants? Give us some merchants.
So Aftershock, which is one of the largest computer store in Australia, yeah.
So if I'm going onto the Aftershock site and I'm getting all the way through to checkout, and then I'm getting to payment options, are they a Shopify store?
The Shopify Plus store, yeah.
Okay, so if we're getting to checkout, you obviously got Shopify Pay there as an option. You open up more payment methods. Is Hello Clever one of the payment options, or is it just labeled as real-time payment or direct debit?
So we make it flexible for merchants to decide. So we are at the moment on Aftershock, we are one of the payment options. So you would say pay with Pay ID powered by Hello Clever, right?
Gotcha.
And then pay with Pay ID, you get 5% cashback, right?
Yes.
So we are doing that. Whereas Shop Pay, there'll be like one click checkout, Shop Pay. After Pay, obviously buy now, pay later. So you can see the difference between that. So Aftershock, as soon as I buy a computer, like one of the PC, custom built PC, it costs you that
Yeah, they're crazy, those PCs. They're mental.
$100 back. Like literally so good, right? As a consumer. Honestly, we run campaigns like that for Aftershock and like cashback went crazy, literally. So we make it flexible for merchants to invest into this because it's similar to how you invest into a marketing campaign, right? So you run during, I guess, weekends, right? For 2 hours, cashback 10%. Normally for someone like Aftershock because the ticket item is really, really huge, like 2,000 average. So they do about 3% and you get, $6 back, right? Immediately.
So similar to the Afterpay model where they can run promotions with their group, except instead of going into debt, you're getting cash back straight away.
Yeah. So we don't encourage credit transaction. We're encouraging debit. So basically you getting your money, right? You save, but you get cash back. So you get rewards for spending your money.
Amazing. All right, cool. So I've got the payment bits down pat. That all makes perfect sense. Roughly in Australia, where are we sitting in terms of real-time payments or this new payment type compared to traditional methods such as credit cards or Afterpay?
Yeah. So Australia is a market where, like, I have to say, like 50% of the consumers are using Apple Pay or digital wallets, right? And then the rest of them are all about debit card, credit cards. So as of, I think, last year, so real-time payment was sitting about 10%, whereas the buy now, pay later sector sitting about 4%.
Wow, it's bigger than what I thought.
It's huge. But it's obviously including all of the use cases. So basically peer-to-peer payments, business-to-business payment, consumer-to-business payment.
Okay.
And I think it's worth like, obviously, billions of dollars industry. So basically it is increasing, as you can see. Probably if you go into Amazon right now, they are enabling real-time payment already. So they did it last month, I think, in partnership with NAP. So unfortunately it wasn't us, but Amazon is obviously, as you know, is one of the biggest merchant in Australia. So they did that already. But the difference between what Amazon is doing with us is that I think you get 5% discount when you pay with NPP, real-time payment, instead of cash back. Now, obviously, I would question that because discount versus cashback makes such a huge difference, right? Because we believe, and this is what we see with our merchants, cashback is more of gain rather than discount is more of a less loss, right? And you kind of like devalue the brands a little bit if you're giving discounts. Whereas cashback, you can create a post-purchase experience as well, and there's consumer data that are coming into your system that you can do a lot with it instead of just like, just a one-off discount. I don't know whose this is, right? So yeah, so as you probably know, cashback has been around for 20 years. The industry is growing as well. Shopback is a really great player, do about 80 million revenue a year. So that is amazing, right? So that's why we're trying to combine the entire system together and one, stop shop for all of what merchants needs. Yeah.
And are the traditional payment methods, are they trying to squash you? Because I can imagine there's a hell of a lot of revenue to protect there.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're trying to do and trying to achieve here is obviously we offer a fair pricing. I have to say it is so much better than the traditional one. So for example, PayPal or even debit and credit cards, because real-time payments is local, right? NPP is local, and it is offered by, the local banks. So has been obviously removing a lot of layers already. So basically card payments are expensive because you've got so many parties involved, and everyone want to cut. Whereas local payment is already introduced by the local banks. So there's no 5 other parties involved, and that's why it is better price for merchants. So that's why if you jump on real-time payment right now, it saves you millions of dollars, right? If you're merchants that process 50 million, I guarantee you we save you a lot of money. Yeah.
Are you speaking to a lot of merchants who don't even know this is an option? I'm just trying to think, why wouldn't you have this as an option?
The merchants, so large merchants, right? When you think about large merchants, I think it's just because of the change management that they have to go through. They will accept this in the next 5 years, 100%. But it's just because it's still new. So there's a lot of change management going through the system, and also the legacy system that you have to deal with for large enterprise merchants. But for merchants like SMEs, mid-market, we build all the plug-in and pre-integration already into like the largest e-commerce systems. So that's why it's literally just a day job, not even like a couple of hours, where you can plug and play into our payment gateway.
You make finance sound so easy.
Yeah, no. Have to, because, in a way for us to make sure that, the merchants understand the benefits of real-time payment. You get your money now instead of like waiting for 3 to 5 days. So Stripe will settle your collections in like 3 to 5 days, right? Whereas for us, we settle instantly. And the good thing about real-time payment is that I need to mention, there is no chargeback, right? So it saves you a lot of time and effort and money as well.
I was literally talking to a retailer yesterday who was they do a lot of their trade on a Saturday. They're very weekend heavy. And she was just saying, coming up to peak, she doesn't get that money back until the Wednesday or the Thursday. And she's like, I know it's only 4 or 5 days, but it makes such a big difference because their stock is essentially fresh stock. So it just makes such a huge difference to her to have that cash available to her immediately.
No, definitely. You have to jump on real-time payment for sure. So I guess because it's still new, so it's only been around for since 2021, you will see the adoption of this in the near future because there's several markets around the world has been proven this model, right? So for example, I have to give you an example of Singapore, like 80% of, businesses in Singapore accept real-time payments. And then, Europe as well has been around as well, Brazil and India. So there definitely is emerging trends on real-time payment on the consumer to business use case. So in Australia, it's only been around for 3 years, so it needs time to adopt, but we are fortunate to be one of the first fintechs who really builds that use case. And we're just waiting for more moments for the growth to come,
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to talk about that growth engine being cashback and loyalty. When you talk cashback, so let's take that example that you had before. I buy a PC, I'm getting $300 back on my PC. Who's funding that cashback?
So the merchant will fund that cashback. So in Hello Clever Merchant Dashboard, there is a tool. It is called Cashback Campaign. What it will do is that we will let the merchants to flexibly set up a cashback campaign depends on their budget, right? So if you think about all the cashback platforms like Shopback or Cash Rewards, you have to go through another affiliate platform and it fixed. Cashback, right? We are dynamic. You can set up, let's say during peak time, you give, 3%, and during like quiet time, you give 5%. So it's super dynamic and it fit into your budget as well. So let's say I have $5,000 budget because it's coming out of your marketing budget. Let's run it, during the quiet time, right? And give them the most cash back or whatever you wanted to design it. So there's a product under our merchant dashboard. It's Cashback Campaign. Now we launched another product. It's called Milestone Campaign under Hello Clever. So what it means is that you're going to reward your regular. So every single time. So it's like what we visualize it as a digital coffee card. So you come back and purchase a PC, I don't know, like once a year or whatever, you get rewards further. Or it wouldn't apply for PC because you wouldn't do.
You come back for parts and accessories.
Yeah, accessories and, clothing, fashion apparel. So I come back and purchase and I get, rewards even more. And it's all embedded into payments, right? You cannot do this without a payment system. We give the customers cash direct.
And do you find that your merchants are advertising that cashback option further up in the journey, or is it usually waiting until they get through to checkout to surface that?
Dacuba's mission is to leave the world more amazing than we found it. So what does that look like? It means prioritising sustainable practices, empowering amazing people, and sending less rubbish emails. With the help of Klaviyo, Dacuba have been able to do exactly that and achieve 34% growth in revenue from Klaviyo flows. With Klaviyo, Dacuba has been able to confidently send more emails, knowing that they will be valuable by responding to omni-channel behaviours and targeting at-risk and high-intent shoppers differently and growing lookalike audiences. See, the world doesn't need less email, just needs amazing email. To explore how Klaviyo can grow your e-commerce business and to see more case studies like this, visit klaviyo.com/au.
Yeah, so they would normally, if they run a campaign like that, they will advertise it in their EDMs or on their website, right? During the financial year, we do cashback during this time and this time, right? Get quick. And to be honest, some of the campaigns run out in like literally 15 minutes. It's crazy. So 15 minutes is running out $5,000. And so it means is that customers actually going to wait for that moment to purchase. And it's increase the revenue for the merchants at that point.
And they're justifying this cashback, are they, by reduced fees? Yeah. Okay. So that's the calculation you've got to do to understand that if I can shift customers to spend more, buy more, and use real-time payments via Hello Clever, I can actually justify giving away this much cashback because I'm not losing in other fees.
Yeah. So basically, because you have been saving that much of payment fees, you're using that payment fees savings to become a cashback, right? And then it helps you to increase your revenue. It's literally a no-brainer for.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell me what are some of the most creative examples that you've seen of integrating all this together?
So we work with merchants in especially, travel sector. And for travel sector, to be honest, it's quite high risk because what if COVID happens again, right? So people cannot travel. So there are a few, campaigns that we are launching with one of the, largest booking system in Asia Pacific. It's called Traveloka. I'm not sure if you know them. So we've been running a few campaigns with them and, we see how, payment has saved them a lot of fees, right? Because they are a global business. So they sell tickets in like 50 countries and you can imagine how you can do all of the payment integration in each of every single country. If you go through Hello Clever, we can just do that to you, right? Literally.
Gotcha.
So it saves a lot of technical efforts as well as, we can centralize everything in one place. So you are as a payment manager or like a financial manager, you can just go into our payment dashboards and have a look at which country you've gone live and who has been paying and buying which tickets, right? So it has been a really interesting use case for us. So we do find a lot of traction in high ticket items, for example, computer stores, furnitures, and then travel sector, right?
Okay.
We'll sell globally. Yeah.
On those high ticket items. So do you find then that there's a segment of customer who is continually shopping for Hello Clever cashback? So if you think back to how Afterpay launched in the market, it was all about the Afterpay directory, in that Afterpay essentially put pressure on a whole bunch of retailers to say, actually, we've got all your customers reaching out to us saying, I wish brand A, B, and C was using Afterpay. Otherwise, I'd shop there, but I'm not shopping there because I'm shopping with the shoe brand that's offering Afterpay because that's how I like to shop now. Are you getting that same kind of pressure from your customers?
Yeah, in terms of the consumer side, we do have like customers reach out to us, because of the cash. So basically, there's some, instances where customers reach out to us and be like, hang on, I don't get my cash back. What's going on? And then we have to come back to the merchants and check with them. Oh, actually, the campaign has been finishing. You literally at the last minute of the campaign. So sorry, your transaction wasn't part of that campaign. So people get like upset about it because they were just like, hang on, I was here because I wanted to, buy this item and I get cash back instantly, right? So we see a lot of emerging, use cases like that, which is really exciting and it's proven our model, right? And sticking to our vision, we want people to be clever with their money and we want rewards for their, purchasing behaviors. Like, because a lot of transaction through our system is debit transaction. What it means is that it is your money. You wanted to purchase this item or purchase this holiday because you obviously deserve it. So you're getting rewards for it as well.
I really like your marketing around being clever with your money, like coming from a payments company to say, we're here to help you be clever with your money. What kind of cut through have you had, especially, I suppose I'm interested in those younger generations, the Gen Zs. What kind of feedback are you getting from younger shoppers?
So they love instant gratification. So there's a lot of products out there that have been giving Gen Zs the instant gratification. And we thought rewards hasn't been instant gratification at all, the past 20 years. So we wanted to change that. And we cannot change that without building payment first. And that's why we took the advantage of, the whole world is building real-time payments right now, right? So there has to be a use case for instant rewards, paying your cash back instantly into your bank accounts, right? So otherwise, we were thinking about how we can make rewards instantly without payment. You cannot unless you pre-fund that cash back, which is a risk. And as a business, a startup, you cannot risk that, right? So it has to make sense and product has to make sense. And that's why, we thought, become a payment company is the start. And that is now our moat because we now plug and play into like 30 banks across the world, right? So we have that moat. If you want to build that, you need license, you need compliance. We are licensed in Australia and we're looking to get licensed in the rest of the world. And I'm sure there are more use cases as we go. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the next global expansion? Where would you like to play?
So interestingly, recently we opened our entity and operation in Japan. It has become a really interesting market for us. As you probably know, Japanese is really risk averse, risk averse. And it took me I think 6 months to a year to just create an entity in Japan. It's crazy. So recently and I cannot announce this yet, but Japan has been a really good market for us. And we're looking into the US right now because FedNow, which is an equivalent payment system to NPP in Australia, launched last year. So they launched that product last year. We need to take the advantage of, being one of the first. We cannot miss the boat. So we're looking to launch in the US really, really soon. And merchant in Australia can just use real-time payment in the US. Like literally now, today, I can turn it on.
That's cool. I'm keen to understand from you, as an entrepreneur, first mover advantage. Obviously, you've jumped on this really quickly and you've got that advantage. Are there times where first mover advantage has also kicked you in the butt?
Yeah, there is. So I give you maybe an example. Obviously, if we are too new, we need to spend our resources to educate the market. So if you go on YouTube right now and search for how to pay with Pay ID, it probably Hello Clever is the first video, right? No one has done it. And we did our first video to educate a consumer how to pay with Pay ID. And it got like thousands of views on that video. So yeah, so one of the cases where it's too new. Everything is like new. It takes time to educate consumers, take time to educate the merchants. But I think it's also a good way because then, we're going to have to create a legacy. And this is something that we're quite proud of to be first mover in Australia and continue to build products that keep innovating industry, right? Because, for example, AI, right? What we can do with AI in payments and stuff like that.
Yeah. And tell me about that AI release and the insights that you're gathering there, because I'm really keen that you would get so much data through there. There's so much compliance. There's so much risk, so many directions you can go with AI. Where did you start? Where are you putting most of your efforts?
Yeah. So we started, building out the use cases for AI late last year because we thought, so basically my co-founder Gavin, so he studied AI and machine learning in RMIT Melbourne like 3 years ago. So he's a PhD candidate now at RMIT. And I thought, Gavin, you're an expert in this, right? What are we waiting for? So immediately we built out our AI team. So our AI team right now at Hello Clever is consisted of 3 PhDs, including Gavin. First of all, his major is in visualization. So basically how it can detect an image and translate into a business context. And Garvin's expertise is in hallucination, like needs to make sure AI like doesn't hallucinate at all. And then Henry hits majors is in time series forecasting. So how I can utilize data to forecast the future. So the team sit out together and build out Clever AI. Basically, it is a clever data analyst to make sure that it monitors, give you productive insights to help you to make business decisions in real time, right? So you are right. So payment data come to us every second. We process millions of transactions, right? So we wanted to make sure these insights come into accelerate insights for businesses. So we launched 3 products. It's called Clever AI Forecaster. So we help you to forecast your sales and revenue. We help you to forecast a cashback campaign. For example, if you invest $10,000 into a cashback campaign, what kind of return you can get generated to make sure there is a visualization and guarantees of results and I guess a play of confidence, right, for you as a merchant if you invest into it. And then there is Clever AI Data Analyst as a chatbot. So we are launching a chatbot. It's similar to GPT style, but it is based on our data. So the difference between that is it's real-time data feeding through our system. So for example, Caroline purchasing something literally right now as we speak, I will give you that data, right? Whereas GPT, you have to upload the data and it probably takes time to analyze because it's fed through our system. So we prompt it right away for the merchants. And a couple of others that in the roadmap, for example, we're forecasting your sales. We want to forecast a bunch of other things such as inventory levels, customer segment analysis and a bunch of that. So it's really crucial for a business to understand it, right? So we want to replace a business analyst in your company and just use Clever AI to do a couple of things. And it is part of that payment transaction anyway, so it's create more stickiness for the merchants to use us.
That's cool. You mentioned before around one of the challenges that you have in establishing yourself is that, the reason no one else has gone down that path is because you actually need to be a marketplace. You need to have your consumers together and you need to have your businesses. And we've seen with payment options like ShopPay, for example, they've been able to infiltrate a lot of businesses and through Shopify be able to power many, but then also bring it into one app where customers can be recommended products in a really smart way based on what they've purchased. Is there any way that you're thinking about taking the relationship between all your merchants and helping your merchants cross-sell with each other based on the data that you've got?
That's really interesting suggestions. We haven't thought about that, Nathan, but maybe when meeting the roadmap, we give the control to the merchants themselves, right? So we're super merchant focused. Like whatever you need, we're going to build our products surrounding your growth. So obviously starting from payment and then, embed into loyalty with cashback and then now data, right? So there's a lot of things that we potentially could do together because we do not monetize on the consumer side. We monetize on the merchant side. As you probably know, so, companies like, ShopPay, PayPal, Afterpay, they monetize on the consumer side as well. We don't do that yet because at the moment, the majority of our consumers are still in Australia. But we do look for opportunities to grow in the US soon and then Japan. So we pick markets that we think consumers loves cashback, right? So for example, obviously emerging markets like Southeast Asia, Africa, they love that as well. But it's just the amount of unbanked, consumers in these markets is quite large. So there has to be different strategies. So we do love to build, an ecosystem where merchants can communicate with each other and obviously monetize and make sure there's growth platform for them as well. But definitely that would be something interesting for us to consider.
Yeah. Is it difficult when you're entering new markets because you've got multiple messages to land on the consumer side? So obviously less payment fees because you're going direct, but then also you've got your cashback. How do you balance the two? And over the top of all of that, you've got the education piece as well. I can imagine there's a lot that you need to land straight away.
Yeah, 100%. So we started with merchant first always, right? So I guess 90% of our focus right now is on the merchant side. So if we wanted to start in the new markets, we have to, again, starting from building a payment rail or payment infrastructure from scratch, right? So it's not like literally just go in there and plug and play with Stripe. It's not going to work like that. So we have to go through several steps to be able to build our payment rail and then build our your cashback value props, your clever AI value props. Obviously, there is one global, but in order to do that, you need a payment rail. So entering the US, for example, right, we had to be then, obviously hire a local lawyer, hire a local director to guide us through the whole process to plug and play into the bank. Right. So it's getting done now. It probably takes us again, I think it started the conversation earlier this year and we only just get the final stage. So it takes a while to do that. And then I have to then invest into engineering resources to build that out. Right. So it probably takes another 2 months after we get approved.
And I bet it's such a slow process to get all those approvals done. And then as soon as it's done, you've got to move ultra fast.
Yeah, ultra fast to get it done, and then you're going to sell it to the merchants. And then during that process, you're going to maintain it as well. So it's not just about get in and then you're done, right? You have to maintain the relationship with your bank. Otherwise, what if, you do not have a proper process? What if there's a merchant who's a scam, right? So you have to make sure there is the end-to-end process to follow. And but it's create a lot of, exciting times for us to explore into new markets, right? We found consumers in the US is quite similar to Australia. Japan also, surprisingly, also quite similar. Everyone loves cashback, right? So we see that is a really good hook for us to start. And then, obviously, with a lot of data coming to us, there's a bunch of things that we're doing in the background.
Shopify is committed to keeping their merchants at the cutting edge of innovation, and the features released in their Summer 25 edition are no different, as they give brands the tools that they need to work smarter today and thrive in the future. For example, Shopify's AI tool Sidekick just got a lot smarter. It's able to synthesize data from multiple sources simultaneously, moving beyond basic Q&A to solve complex business challenges. They've also made scaling globally even easier with Shopify Payments. You can now manage various business entities and settle up in multiple currencies from a single store. And for in-store, POS has been redesigned, making the day-to-day experience for retail staff easier with improved search, intuitive navigation, and a more flexible cart. Check out over 150 features that have been released by searching Shopify Summer 2025 edition.
I was just thinking around risk for your model. What are the biggest risks that are there? Because I can imagine, obviously, a newish payment model with real-time payments, plus cashback into bank accounts. What are the biggest risks that you have to manage?
So the risk is from fraudulent activities, obviously scams, right? So for example, you're being attacked by a group of consumers who are purchasing something online. And then, so you pay with real-time payment. The merchant receive the money right away, but then they will call their bank and said, I didn't buy this. I didn't do this. And the bank would then come back to us and be like, what's going on, right? Because the bank is always protect consumers, and we love that. So there has to be the balance and the really, prepare process to make sure that both merchants and consumers are protected, right? And that is one of the key challenges in payment industry as a whole anyway. Or for example, if maybe at the moment cryptocurrency is really popular, there's sort of frauds around that as well. So we need to make sure that we don't serve merchants in crypto industry, but we do have a lot of merchants that come to us and be like, oh, can you onboard cryptocurrency platforms, etc. We said no to them right away. So you need to kind of identify the type of merchants you want to work with as well in that way. Yeah.
How does it work in terms of returns and refunds? So if you're giving cash back straight into bank accounts post-purchase, and then customers go, actually, I'll have a refund, how do you get the cash back?
Yeah, so good question. So because we are a payment company, we can just give them refunds right away, instant refund, but minus the cash back that you have been fair and square. So it's in our commercial contract, because the consumer will have to accept T&Cs and, then they make sure they give consent on that, and on the merchant side as well. So as of today in Australia, actually, we are the only fintech that offer automated return for merchant. So you are on real-time payment. At the moment, everything is so manual. So the banks will send it to the payment company in an Excel file, believe it or not.
That's a big selling point in itself. We've had startups launch in Australia purely with that one proposition.
Yeah, exactly. No, we do everything automatically. So we build that ourselves, and I can show you that. You can speak to anyone in the real-time payment industry. So every single time, if customers complain, the bank will send an Excel file to that payment company, and then that payment company will send an email manually to the merchant and asking why. We automate the whole thing. So the merchant literally just go into the dashboard. We will send that notification to the merchant automatically, and they just upload. It's similar to what Stripe's done, but we did that for real-time payment. So yeah, it's funny because I just realized that now. Yeah, we did the entire things automatically for merchants.
That's very cool. Caroline, what really strikes me is that you are in this brand new world and in a really complicated part of e-commerce. And I know it's broader than e-commerce, but what you do is complicated and it's global and there's a lot of legal coming to...
High regulated industry.
Exactly. High fraud. There is so much risk involved, so much growth, but you manage to explain things so simply and so clearly for people. How do you maintain that level of balance in a world that I can imagine you must have 1,000 things on your plate at the moment or 1,000 thoughts of what's going on everywhere? How do you maintain the balance?
Yeah, so basically, there's a lot of things going on here, right? I think it's coming from, my background. So I wasn't in payment industry. I literally was in media before this. Like we organized the Masked Singer and a bunch of that, those shows. And I decided to quit my job and we just stumbled upon payments. And we thought it's really, really interesting. No one was solving this problem before. So I think because of that, we comes from a really fresh perspective. So we can, I guess, explain to our audiences with a really simple terms, right? Because otherwise no one's going to understand what we're doing. Yeah, fair and square, we do real-time payment, we give you instant cashback, we give you real-time insights, done, right? And it's at fair price, not at the price that you cannot afford. So it is a win-win for you as a merchant. So I guess as well as, you need to have a team who are expert at payment as well. So not like, we don't have a payment experience and then the rest of the team don't have payment experience. That's going to take us time to learn and adapt, right? So we do have a team who's obviously expert in the industry as well to get us move faster, right? To get us to the right direction, right? To get us to speak to the right people in terms of regulation. So, and obviously for me as a co-founder and a CEO, it's all about how we create a vision and how I'm going to lead with the vibe, because people need to have fun along the journey as well. That's what I believe. So, and coming from media industry, I think it was really fun during my time in media. And I thought, why don't we just create a fun tech,
why don't I just start a global payments company?
Yeah. Why don't we just do a global payment company? Actually, we started in Australia first, but yeah, let's go global tomorrow. So that's what we did.
I love it. All right. And surely, I'm going to pick your brains here. Surely you've done one dumb thing with money in your life. What is it?
So invested in stocks that not doing well. I think like before Hello Clever, I spent all my savings in a company that I shouldn't have done it and they went bankrupt. So I listened to some people, that FOMO was crazy. And then actually I didn't lose money, but it just wasn't a wise investment at all. So that's what I did. So right now I do also invest into startups, which I find really exciting because I've been doing this, right? So I know how hard it is to do it. And I know how understand now how to decide which one to invest, right? So it's not a lot of money, just like a couple of $1,000s, but want to get in there, support the founders as much as possible because I know I am the founder and I know the journey of, building a startup is super painful, right? You're spending 24/7 to make sure the system still works. So especially in payment, right? You don't want downtime at all. So that's why, really like to support like emerging and innovative technologies around the world.
Oh, good. Found anything interesting that we should share with our listeners?
Yeah. In obviously OpenAI. No, I think
I haven't heard about them and I don't think they're doing much.
No, who's OpenAI? Look, I looked at a lot of companies at Y Combinators and StartMate. I think there's a lot of potentials there, so always look out for opportunities. I haven't actually recently invested in like any companies at all because we've been spending a lot of efforts on Hello Clever. But if I know anyone, I'll definitely reach out. Obviously, Lovable, right? You have about Lovable, but love support Australian startups. There's a lot out there.
That's awesome. So good. What does the next 12 months look like for you and Hello Clever? What are your priorities?
So our priorities right now is to double down on ARR every month. Oh my God, if we can do that, would be awesome. So obviously, keep growing the revenue. But one of the things that we really wanted to achieve is that getting our Singapore license and Japanese license. That would be awesome because that is our moat, right? Create more moat for Hello Clever. And then establishing our presence in the US. It's really exciting. We have our country lead in the US starting literally in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to catching up with the team in New York and then obviously, create more products, innovative products. No one has done it before. We're going to be the first. We have to always be the first because first mover advantage has been giving us a lot of opportunities. And we think we're going to continue to do our research, what we can do better, who we're going to replace and dominate that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's just leave it there. Dominate that. That's a beautiful ending to our conversation. Thank you so much, Caroline. I just think it's so fascinating what you're doing at Hello Clever. Not only did you give us a good little update, a good little lesson on the opportunity for real-time payments, but also thinking about how Hello Clever can play into loyalty and marketing to grow sales as well as save money. I think it's a really interesting proposition. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
I think you'll agree that was 45 minutes. Pretty well spent. If you came out of that understanding more about real-time payments and what you knew going in, I certainly did. So I hope that was valuable for you. I think it's a really, really interesting business model that Caroline and the team have there at Hello Clever. I've never seen someone, not since Afterpay, but Afterpay did it a bit differently, combine payments and loyalty together. All right, there are 3 lessons that I want to share with you from that conversation. Number 1, real-time payments, the opportunity around real-time payments, now representing 10% of global payments, obviously a lot more in the B2B world, but growing in that C2B world as well. I think if you do not have real-time payments as an option in your checkout, you're missing out not just from a margin perspective, but also from a customer preference perspective. It's really important to have a look at what you're offering and see if that is an additional payment method that you want to offer, whether it's with Hello Clever or another provider, but customers are starting to expect it. As Caroline said, it's not overly complicated to implement. It will take some change management, and if you're on an older tech stack, it may come with some complications, but if you're on a standard tech stack, it should be a pretty straightforward thing to implement. The second thing there was, I love that point when Caroline said that when she felt out of her depth on the legal ramifications around payments, she didn't go and try and sort it out herself. She went to LinkedIn and she found the best people in Melbourne and reached out to them cold and asked for help. In the end, she found one of her advisors that way. I think that's a really great lesson. Whenever we come to a roadblock, is not just to plow through and try and work it out ourselves. Go find the people that actually have done it before and can give you the shortcuts. She did this masterfully. And number 3, first mover advantage. I know there are 2 schools of camps on this. Some people love being first mover advantage. Some people love to be fast followers. Caroline has shown with Hello Clever the advantage of getting in there first because she's built a marketplace and a moat around that first mover advantage because she was able to demonstrate the value on both sides of that marketplace really quickly. You can see there in a world of payments and finance that typically moves pretty slowly, Caroline knows exactly when to hit the gas and when to get that momentum, and I think that's really helped with her first mover advantage. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend or perhaps share it with another merchant who you think could use a little bit of real-time payments upskilling. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button in your favorite podcast player so we can keep bringing you stories and tips to help you grow in e-commerce. If you haven't already, we have an amazing community of over 500 e-commerce professionals. It's a learning community. It's free. Come and join us. Head on over to community.addtocart.com.au. Join us there and continue the conversation. See you next time.
Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep those customers adding to cart.